Hello, everybody. Welcome to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's a gorgeous evening for college softball, and that's exactly what we've got on the SEC ESPN Network. A pair of Tiger teams to battle, Auburn and the 13th-ranked LSU Tigers. We bring you inside beautiful Tiger Park with Hall of Fame coach Yvette Girard. I'm Len Rollins. These teams opened the series last night with a squeaky one-run LSU victory. Both starting pitchers were sensational. Auburn Shelby Lowe and LSU Shelby Sinceri kept base runners to a minimum. But the hometown Tigers came to life in the bottom of the 7th inning to get the win.
Senior Amanda Doyle got things started for LSU with a leadoff double to center field. Georgia Clark followed with a sacrifice bunt that put pinch runner Akaya Times on third. Then freshman Raylene Gutierrez hit a walk-off sacrifice fly to right field to clinch the win for LSU.
Well, this is the last weekend of SEC play event, and as we head down the home stretch toward the SEC tournament next week in Tuscaloosa, what's at stake specifically here today?
Well, both teams will play in the tournament next weekend in Tuscaloosa, but I think the LSU Tigers are still trying to make a case that they're a top 8 national seed. They're at number 4 in the RPI, and they have by far the number 1 strength of schedule in the country. They just need to keep winning, Lynn.
That graphic on the left side of your screen is really illustrating LSU's case. They've played 47 games, 31, a remarkable number. 31 of those 47 has been against an RPI top 25 team, hence the strongest schedule in the country to date.
Yeah, and Beth Torino's really hoping it's going to pay off here in the latter part of the schedule here where we get into postseason play.
Let's take a look at LSU's starting pitcher. It's senior Mary Beth Gorsuch, who was featured in a video before the game talking about the death of her father just a couple of weeks ago. A very emotional moment. Gorsuch gets the start today for the Tigers.
Well, you saw she just wrote Dad in the circle with a heart. Her best pitch is curve or change. She's going to use that drop curve, rise, change. She throws in the mid-60s. She's a leader on this team. She's a veteran. She's a 5-year senior, so she gets the start on senior weekend.
Let's take a look at the Auburn starting lineup. Now, Yvette, this is a team that has had some problems in the SEC. But it's also a team, for example, that has lost now 4 consecutive one-run games. So they've had some tough losses. It's not a team that belts the ball that often. Tyler King is hitting .313. Michaela Packer is also hitting .313. Those are the only 2 300 hitters in this lineup. And not a lot of home run power either. 4 is the most that anybody in the lineup today has. And that's from Aspen Godwin, the catcher, who hit one last night.
They'll start off with, they have 8 seniors on this team. 5 will start today.
So we are set to go. Rivera, the senior, leading it off. A couple of homers, 14 driven in. She's the right fielder. And what a gorgeous evening we have for baseball. There is not a cloud in the sky for softball, not a cloud in the sky. Lots of sunshine here. You'll see the shadows start creeping over the field from left to right. That's from the third base side toward the right field side. The wind is basically blowing from right to left. We'll see a little bit of variation for that, but softballs will hit to the left side, will be aided today. And Game 2 under perfect conditions here a bit.
Gorsuch starts with that backdoor curveball for a strike and comes back with a screwball for a ball, so the count's even at 1-1.
What is her arsenal?
Well, she's got a little bit of everything. No question she has the best movement on the team. She can throw everything. You know, not quite a great drop ball, but curve, rise, great spin. She's the spinner.
This is hit deep to left field. There is room out there, and battling the sun is Sierra Briggs. She's got it. Let's check LSU defensively. We'll start in the outfield. Sierra Briggs, Aaliyah Andrews, and Raylene Gutierrez from left to right. On the infield from third to first, Amanda Doyle, Taylor Pleasance, Taylor Tidwell, and Georgia Clark. And Morgan Cummins is behind the plate catching Gorsuch.
And I can promise you, Beth Torino probably will not stay with that lineup because she will utilize the flex and the DP to the max.
Briggs has another opportunity in left field and moves to her left to make the catch. She's a dancer after the catches, isn't she?
Yeah, and I was watching baseball the other day, and I think that this is leaking into the guys' game, too. I saw a little hip action in a game the other day. You must be watching some softball.
Here's the freshman, Sydney Cox, having a solid year, hitting .269 as a rookie. This is her 40th start. She's first pitch swinging, and that's lifted out of play on the left side. LSU and Auburn. It was a squeaker last night. LSU winning it 2-1. Very well pitched from both sides.
Pitchers do, and both head coaches will call the pitches for their team. They work with their pitchers and call the game.
Cox hits one into left center field. Aaliyah Andrews covers a lot of ground, and that's caught by the senior center fielder. So 3 fly ball outs, 2 handled by Briggs in left, the third one by Andrews in center field. We go to the bottom of the inning. Auburn nothing, LSU coming to the plate. Auburn went down in order in the top of the first. LSU coming to the plate in a scoreless game here in Baton Rouge, the middle game of the 3-game series. Let's take a look at Maddie Penta, another one of the freshman starters for Auburn. She's had an erratic year. When she's good, she is really good. Sometimes she's had some problems with that 8-8 record, a 2.63 ERA. This is a young lady, a vet, who in her first college game threw a no-hitter. And then in her 5th college game threw a no-hitter.
2 great-looking freshman pitchers for the Auburn Tigers. You'll see she'll throw in the high 60s, low 70s, curve and rise primarily, but we'll get into this later. Her stats from high school are just unbelievable. She's just learning how to pitch on this level. No question, she needs a changeup in her arsenal.
Here's LSU's batting order. The first 3 are the 300 hitters in the lineup. Andrews at 376. Briggs at 336, Pleasance at 313, and we are ready to go here with Auburn pitching to LSU for the first time this afternoon.
And of course, Aaliyah Andrews and Mary Beth Gorsuch were featured pregame senior weekend here in Tiger Park.
Penta is most effective when she uses both sides of the plate. And in talking with some of the Auburn Brain Trust, if she thinks the strike zone is being compressed a little bit, she can get frustrated, and they are trying to just work her through that maturity point, knowing that every pitch is not going to be called a strike. And like I say, Yvette, she's got really big-time stuff. 20 fewer hits allowed than innings pitched, and a lot of potential with the 2 freshman starters for the Auburn Tigers. Now, Penta is only 2 strikeouts away from 100 this year. The starting pitcher last night had more than 100, has had way more than 100 strikeouts, and so if Penta reaches the 100 mark, it'll be the first time in Auburn history that 2 freshmen have reached 100 strikeouts plus in 1 year.
Yeah, no question. It looks great in a circle for the Tigers, for the Auburn Tigers, but that's part of the maturation process. Every level is just a little bit harder, and that's what she's going through now.
Auburn defensively, King and Packer and Rivera in the outfield. Perry and Cox, Dow and Kepke on the infield from first to third. Penta and Aspen form the battery for the Auburn Tigers. Auburn's problems this year have not been with poor pitching, but they have just not had enough run support.
No, they're last in the SEC in batting average. Team ERA, Auburn is 4th, but last in the SEC in batting average, and LSU is 12th, so a little bit better than the LSU Tigers.
LSU in its basic purple today. Auburn in its basic white.
I'm not too sure we've seen these uniforms.
Not very often, if at all.
I think they might be new.
Let's see if there's room on the left side. There is not. That's up on the roof.
Tigers have won quite a few games in championships. Of course, gold is championship Sunday, but quite a few games in all purple.
Speaking of Sunday, tomorrow's game will start at 1 o'clock, and we'll have it for you right here on the SEC ESPN network. That's a check swing strike.
And there you see an off-speed pitch, no question. She gets that pitch with the overpowering. You know, she's a physical specimen on the circle. She's 6'2". See that ball just falling off the plate.
That was not a strike, but it certainly had a good look. Briggs pokes it just past the circle, picked up by the shortstop. Nicely done by Dowell.
What a play.
McKenna Dowell with a heck of a play, charging that ball, jumping on it like a rat on a Cheeto, and getting the out at first base.
What a play. Not much time for transfer.
Well done by Dowell. Out on a bang-bang play at first base. And here is Taylor Pleasance. Pleasance's first pitch swinging. Hitting .313. 46 base hits. That's tied for second on the team with Briggs. Andrews leads LSU with 59 base hits. Andrews is one of the leading hit producers in the league. And Yvette, when you and I talked to Mickey Dean earlier this week and asked him if you had to get one person out on the LSU team, who would it be? And without hesitation, he said Andrews.
No.
We cannot let her get on base.
No question, because if she gets on first, she's within a second, she's at second.
This gets to the warning track before it's touched by the leather of the center fielder. And Taylor Pleasance strolls into second base with a slashing double into the left center field gap.
And there's the perfect example of controlling Andrews. If Andrews is on, it's an RBI for Pleasance. But she gets it started with 2 outs.
That's her 10th double of the season. She gets a lot of leverage and uses that big frame
So just a great
to create
looking
a lot
hitter.
of torque with the bat.
Just a great looking hitter.
Here's Amanda Doyle, who had a big part in last night's win with a 7th inning double. And that got the pinch runner on base, who scored on a sacrifice fly by Gutierrez. LSU went away with a 2-1 win.
Senior led the way when they needed it. You can see that late movement from Pinta.
Doyle is hitting .350 this year with runners in scoring position. That's 85 points higher than her season's batting average. The 2-1 pitch. There's an off-speed pitch, but it stays out of the strike zone.
Working on that change. He doesn't quite have it yet, but you don't stop throwing it.
That's a field pitch, isn't it?
And, you know, there's so many change-ups, so many ways to throw it. She'll figure out which one's best for her.
This is grounded to the left side. LSU will not be able to bring the runner in from second base. Now the throw back to first, close over there. After all the dust has settled, LSU has runners at first and third on the infield hit by Doyle.
That was an interesting cutoff situation here.
Actually, the ball gets to left field. Doyle thought it was going to be, or Pleasance thought it was going to be stopped on the infield. And she had the decision to make. Do I just run with 2 outs?
Well, King,
or if the ball is caught by the third baseman or the shortstop, she could get tagged out at third.
Right. King threw that ball all the way into home, which we weren't expecting that. You're supposed to hit your cutoff on there, and Godwin did a great job of going get that ball.
So here's Georgia Clark now with runners at first and third. Gutierrez is on deck. The outfield plays her to pull. She pops this one up in foul ground, right side, and it's just out of the reach of Justice Perry.
Might have felt the wall there a little bit. Think she's okay, though.
LSU is one of 20 preliminary sites under consideration for a regional. There will be 16 regional sites chosen eventually. That'll come up very soon, the next few days. An announcement will be made on that.
I'd be very shocked if LSU doesn't host a regional tournament.
And they have identified 16, quote, preliminary sites. 20 and 16, of course, will eventually be put in play, but that's for COVID precautions and backup mechanisms in place, and just to make sure that everybody who potentially could play in postseason will go to, quote, an approved location.
And that's never happened before. The locations have never been pre-announced, but you're right, it's all about COVID.
The 2-2 pitch. Lifted out of play up onto the net, right side. The inning started when Andrews tapped it back to the circle. Briggs was thrown out on a terrific play by the shortstop Dowell. Pleasance ripped a double into the left center field gap. Doyle followed with a ground ball single into left field. Runners at third and first, Pleasance and Doyle. The 2-2 pitch from Pinta to Clark. Swing and a miss. So Pinta gets her 99th strikeout of the season. She's one short of 100, and she strikes out Clark with runners at third and first. We remain scoreless as we head to the second inning. Mary Beth Gorsuch takes the circle for her second inning against Auburn. You see a picture on the left of your screen. Doug and Mary Beth Gorsuch, taken before Mary Beth's dad passed away a couple of weeks ago with a heart attack, and it's been a very emotional 2 weeks for this young lady.
Yes, it has. It was sudden. It was a massive heart attack. Took the family and, of course, the team and Mary Beth by surprise. And
that DG around the ballpark for Doug Gorsuch in his memory. This LSU team really rallied around Mary Beth Gorsuch once the news rocked the LSU family, the Gorsuch family. Another chance out in left field for LSU Sierra Briggs, and that's her third catch already. 4 fly ball outs. Gorsuch has thrown 7 pitches. 6 of them have been strikes.
Going back to Gorsuch and being surrounded by love, the Tigers on their way out to a game to the east stopped in Dallas, got on a chartered bus and went to spend 2 hours with Mary Beth right after it happened in the week following the death, and then got back on the plane and went to play softball.
Lindsey Garcia, the designated player, is at the plate for the first time, batting .255. This sophomore making her 33rd start.
It's getting hot lately for the Auburn Tigers. She's a biomedical sciences major. See, I can't even say it.
Both of these rosters are laden with some very good students.
Yeah, you go through, you're right, you read the rosters, the bios, and it's all SEC honor roll. Time after time. And that's what you'll see. You talked about the fly balls with Briggs catching so many already. She lives up in the zone, so That's what you should see, is fly ball outs.
As opposed to a couple of other LSU pitchers who rely on that sinking variety of pitch, and ground ball outs are the thing that you look out for when those are in the circle.
Beth Torino was a drop ball pitcher, so you just assume her pitchers would have very good drop balls. As I said, Gorsuch probably has the most movement on the team. She just has to work ahead so that she can get the benefit of that movement.
This Auburn team has been involved in so many close one-run losses. 4 of them in a row, 3 to Tennessee and 1 last night to LSU. Gorsuch, 2-2 pitch. That one gets away and stays upstairs. But Yvette, this team lost 2-1 to Tennessee, 3-2 and 2-1, and then a 2-1 loss to LSU last night in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, it bears witness to what we talked about. You know, they're strong in the circle. Offensively, they're a little weak.
Gorsuch issues a base on balls. So Auburn gets a base runner. LSU got a couple of base runners in the bottom of the inning on a 2-out double by Pleasance and a single by Doyle.
Number 10, Michaela Packer.
Here's Michaela Packer. She calls herself a beast on the field and a diva off the field. I like her nickname, though, given to her by her teammates. America's next top outfielder.
You gotta love softball teams.
She gets the bunt down. A nice play by the first baseman Clark to Tidwell covering at first. So the sacrifice is successful by a beast on the field and a diva off the field.
That's some good insight, Lynn.
Let's see if Auburn can produce the game's first run with 2 outs and a runner at second.
And when you don't score a lot of runs, you've got to manufacture them. You've got to use every facet of the game.
Madison Kepke, the third baseman, hitting .237. This is her 20th start, a check swing strike.
She was her high school's all-time leader in home runs.
Gorsuch checks the wristband for instructions and brings the 0-1 pitch. That one was elevated.
Rise ball at 62 miles an hour.
And you mentioned the velocity of Penta for Auburn, reaching 70 plus on occasion.
The last pitch that she ended the inning with was 69.
A third to first put out. Doyle to Clark. Ends the potential rally for Auburn. A runner left at second base. Kepke rolls out 5-3, and we move on. Still scoreless, Auburn and LSU. Well, the thrill, the excitement, the challenge of postseason softball is not far away. The SEC tournament will be played in Tuscaloosa this year. It's Tuesday through Saturday at Rhodes Stadium on the campus of the University of Alabama.
She is chunking it.
Penta has had a lot of experience playing softball. Her mother pitched at the University of Delaware, and Maddie's mom has been Penta's pitching coach and mentor since Maddie started playing softball at age 6. So that right hand has already unleashed a lot of pitches.
Listen to this, Lynn. As a freshman in high school, she pitched 102 in the third innings, 0 ERA. She had a 13-1 record. Sophomore, 15-0, .07 ERA, and she hit .441. As a junior, she was 21-0, .11 ERA, and she hit .586. Her senior year, she had 9 home runs that junior year. Senior year, 106 innings pitched, 0 ERA, and 299 Ks.
So twice she had 0 earned run averages in high school seasons.
Yeah, I don't care where you play. That's pretty dang good.
Well, there is strikeout number 100, and history has been made now as Shelby Lowe and Maddie Penta, both freshman pitchers, for the first time in Auburn history, have recorded 100 or more strikeouts as a freshman.
See that big-time screwball just tailing away from the lefties.
Well, you've said it for a long time. That well-thrown screwball to a left-handed batter from a right-handed pitcher is kryptonite. Here's Shelby Sunseri.
Shelby Sunseri graduated yesterday morning. And then she threw 7 innings, allowed just 1 run on 3 hits, and got the win for her Tigers.
It's a little bit of a mystery, the drop-off in her offense this year. She's hitting .212, 6 home runs, and 20 driven in.
Yeah, her sophomore year, she hit 17 home runs, and there's no question in my mind she was one of maybe top 2 two-way players in the country.
LSU has some other graduates from the softball team as well. Taryn Antoine in sports administration, Shelby Sunseri in sports administration, Mary Beth Gorsuch in interdisciplinary studies, and Shelby Wickersham in psychology.
Wickersham, I believe, is just a sophomore. It was Claire Weinberger.
Oh, I'm reading something.
Amanda Doyle.
I've got bad information there.
Well, Wickersham might hope that she had graduated.
This is her. I know she's a very good student.
Yes, she is. 4.0 in high school, never made a B. But the 6 seniors are Antoine, Doyle, Andrews, Gorsuch, Times, and Weinberger. And Weinberger elected not to play this year.
I've got an incomplete list.
They still are honoring her, and she will be honored tomorrow.
That's nice.
Yeah, a classy act by the staff.
I've got incomplete information I see here.
That's okay. You can't be right all the time, Lynn.
I was reading it correctly. The 3-2 pitch to Sunseri. Swing and a miss.
Big curveball there. You can see she has late movement, throws the ball hard, 68 miles an hour, almost 69. You put a changeup at 12 to 15 mile an hour difference, whew, she's going to be good.
We mentioned it earlier. She threw a 5-inning no-hitter in her first college start. In her 5th college start, she threw a 7-inning no-hitter. Auburn is very well set in the circle for the next several years. It's got some work to do improving the lineup offensively, but these 2 freshman pitchers for Auburn are really, really good.
And I talked about the starters. There's 8 seniors on Auburn's team, and 5 are starting today. So
Shelby Lowe, of course, is the other freshman about whom we've spoken. She threw very well last night. Was a hard luck loser in the 7th.
Absolutely. As I said, 2 great-looking freshmen in the circle.
Well, Lowe is one of the leaders in the SEC in ERA and never walks anybody. There's that changeup. And let's take a look at all 3 of Maddie Penta's strikeouts.
Here you'll see the big screwball in the outside corner. She's going to throw that curveball on the other corner. And how about this changeup I'm talking about?
So 4 strikeouts in a row for her. We remain scoreless, Auburn and LSU. We are scoreless, Auburn and LSU, the middle game of the 3-game series. And it's that kind of day. Those students are out in the sunshine. and have tigers painted across their chests. It's probably the biggest crowd of the year, Yvette, and certainly the weather has cooperated today. The sky is the color of a robin's egg. If you've never seen one, go outside, take a look at the sky, and you'll know exactly what the mother robin produces. That is just a cloudless, light blue, gorgeous, inviting sky.
Graduation weekend, and this campus is hopping.
Auburn graduated last weekend. Here's Justice Perry.
And isn't it good to see all these people out at the game?
It is.
Justice Perry is a graduate. She's a Minnesota native. Her bachelor's, listen to this, Lynn, bachelor's degree in both law and justice and Spanish, a minor in psychology, and she's pursuing her master's degree in Hispanic studies. I think she should be able to find a job with all of that.
I think so, and she's also very active in community work.
It seems like she's been there forever. I feel like she was almost there when I was coaching. Just remember that name.
Perry has had a lot of bruises in her career. She's been hit by a pitch 40 times.
Oh, my. Hope it was all on those shields she wears now.
Perry takes a full swing and lifts it foul out of play. She's one of those throwback hitters, Yvette's. The very few that don't wear batting gloves. Most wear 2 batting gloves, some wear 1.
You got an eagle eye for that. You always pick that up on hitters that don't wear gloves. I don't notice it as much as you
When
do.
you and I were playing, though, I mean, I would take an old pair of socks or whatever you could find, an old hot dog wrapper, and use that as a batting glove.
And I can promise you it was the same batting glove for years.
Gorsuch whips one by Justice Perry. That's her first strikeout.
See the big movement of this curve ball up. A little bit of a curve rise.
When that ball starts lifting and moving away from a right-handed batter, it can be double trouble. Here's Aspen Godwin.
Three-time Alabama All-State catcher. And she made a nice play a while ago when I talked about her coming up and cutting that ball off, and she almost had a play at first, but it was very heads up. She kept Doyle at first instead of letting her be the trailing runner at second and having 2 runners in scoring position.
Gorsuch is throwing a lot of strikes early in the count. 8 of her 9 first pitches have been strikes.
And absolutely critical for Gorsuch. And who can ever forget the game that we call 21 first pitch strikes? Never had I seen that in my career.
A play in fair territory on the backhand side by Amanda Doyle. The out is recorded at first base. Nicely done by Amanda Doyle.
Amanda Doyle has been a rock in this infield, whether it be either corner, but plays the hot corner extremely well. Played a lot of first base also for the Tigers.
Third batter of the inning for Auburn, number 21, Alyssa Rivera.
Big holes to fill when you don't have Doyle and Andrews anymore. Those are.
Doyle last night against Auburn several times flashed some fancy leather at third base. And Yvette, you know better than anybody, even though first base and third base might look to be similar positions, they are 180 degrees apart.
No way. The hot corner in this game is truly on fire sometimes.
Gorsuch throws with velocity, but it's upstairs. 2-0 to Rivera. who flied out to left field early in the count back in the first inning. She is the first player to come to the plate for Auburn twice.
Gorsuch won't throw near as hard as Penta. She really relies on the movement.
And will probably throw a changeup a bit more often than Penta.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned it early in the broadcast. When Penta learns how to control an off-speed pitch, she is going to rise to among the very elite in the SEC.
Well, without that, the Tigers will make an adjustment at some point when they go through the lineup and see her at least twice. With the changeup, a lot harder to make that adjustment.
Three balls and a strike. Gorsuch has allowed only one base runner. That was on a one-out walk to Garcia in the second inning.
Gorsuch loves to work quick. She's the only pitcher on the LSU staff that's always asking for the sign, faster, faster, faster.
She's trying to come back from a 3-0 count. There's part of this large, enthusiastic crowd here supporting LSU.
Yeah, no question, Lynn. This has to be the biggest crowd this year. Gorgeous day. One again tomorrow.
Gorsuch on the seventh pitch loses Rivera, who becomes a base runner with two outs. Rivera has stolen 6 bases in 9 attempts.
Left fielder 66, Tyler King.
An event we've got word from the NCAA beach volleyball tournament. LSU has been eliminated from that championship tournament, falling to UCLA 3-2. LSU entered the tournament as a number 4 seed.
It's another hard luck story with COVID. LSU was really rocking and rolling in 2020, had a real chance to win that national championship. But congrats on a great season again.
Runner is on the move, and that pitch is stroked into center field. Andrews cuts it off, fires it back to the cutoff man at second base, holding runners to first and third.
And this is what I'm talking about. Not a great offensive team, but Mickey Dean is utilizing every aspect of the game. This is a hit and run. So that's why the runner gets to third base. He's sacrificed, he's moved runners over, he's called for a hit and run here, been successful.
Tyler King is one of 2 300 hitters in the lineup, and she did a terrific job of stroking that ball with authority right back from whence it came, a liner to center.
And you know, we don't really see a lot of hit and runs in our game. You see it a lot with the slappers.
Here's Sydney Cox. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Cummins has to move to her left to save that one at the plate. Cox flied to center field back in the first inning. Auburn had a base runner in the second. It's got 2 of them here with 2 outs in the third. Out to left field, and the liner is taken by Sierra Briggs. Briggs has been really busy early. That's her 4th putout. Gorsuch casts ice on the would-be Auburn rally, and we remain scoreless on the SEC ESPN network. LSU's tribute to its 6 seniors has been spread out over 3 nights. 2 on last night, 2 today, and 2 tomorrow. 6 altogether, and some emotional moments before the game.
It always is. Taryn Antoine and Amanda Doyle were honored on Friday. Today it's Aaliyah Andrews and Mary Beth Gorsuch. And tomorrow, Kaya Times and Claire Weinberger.
And what we don't show you there is after that tribute, LSU's players went over with bouquets of flowers and presented them to the seniors on the Auburn team as well. I know that was started under your regime a few years ago, and I think it's a marvelous tradition that now many schools across the country duplicate.
Pretty cool tradition, as we said too. You wouldn't see that in the men's sport, but
no.
You definitely will see it in the female sports.
So we do have some video on this. This is the LSU players handing out the bouquets, the flowers, and a real sense of sportsmanship and kindness and camaraderie and saluting the other team.
Well, for so many females, this is the end of the line to their athletic career, so everybody kind of gets it. The hard work.
Taylor Tidwell batting for the first time. Tidwell making her 27th start. She's hitting 167. That's a disappointment to her, and I think the expectations that she would be really a robust hitter. It just hasn't happened this year. She
really
certainly has the tools to do it.
Really good defensive player, so that keeps her in the lineup, and every now and then she'll be a prime time player and step up in an important RBI situation.
She does have 5 homers, but she waves at that one that kept working away from the end of the bat. That's 5 strikeouts in a row now for Penta. She got Clark to end the first. She got Gutierrez, Sunseri, and Cummins in a row in the second. And she gets Tidwell here on strikes to open the third. Here's Andrews, who tapped back to the circle last time. Aaliyah hitting 373. This is a 5-tool softball player at the plate right now. She hits. This year she's hitting with some power. She runs. Her defense is as good as anybody in the country. And she steals bases.
And she's got a 9-game hitting streak, and you're right, which ties her for a season high, but you're right. Oh boy, can she run. And she's made the ESPN highlight top 10, I think, 3 times now this year. Beth Torina says they just kind of automatically think she's going to make that play and doesn't even come off her bucket.
How about Maddie Penta, though?
How about Maddie Penta? What is that, 6 in a row?
It is.
And here we talk about the big movement. And she's working ahead. A lot of these pitches are not strikes.
She has struck out Clark, Gutierrez, Sunseri, Cummins, Tidwell, and Andrews in a row. Here's Briggs.
Definitely in a rhythm here.
This sophomore hitting 336 coming into the game.
See, and that's the ball that Andrews just swung at. It's not a strike, but tough to lay off of when you have 2 strikes.
And especially if it's headed toward the strike zone and then takes that screwball break.
She's starting to get that changeup over now.
Mickey Dean told us that the key for Penta's success in any particular game, and especially over the course of her upcoming career, is going to be the changeup. And we see great illustration of that. Kepke makes the play at third base. Briggs is retired at first. Pitchers once again for the second night in a row are in control. We are scoreless in Baton Rouge.
It's the NCAA Softball Selection Show.
Gets a shot to go to Oklahoma City.
You got to win or they're going home.
That does it. Back to the Women's College World Series.
Feeling pretty confident right now.
When we reveal the bracket for the NCAA tournament.
I'm king of the mountain.
Well, that's the next best thing for playing the games, finding out who's going where, who's in, who's out. Sunday, May 16th, 9 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Everything you want to know about postseason college softball.
That's usually, as I said before, when you found out where the regional sites were. We already know where possibility of where they're going to be, and as I predict, I believe there'll be one in Baton Rouge. Sure hope we're calling it.
That excitement just takes it to a new level when postseason arrives. Right now, both Mary Beth Gorsuch for LSU and Maddie Penta for Auburn have controlled the offenses of the opponents. Dowell, Garcia, and Packer, the middle part of the order here for Auburn in the fourth.
You just saw Gorsuch pull that beauty out of her back pocket. Great looking changeup at 48 miles an hour.
And a liner to center. Andrews moves over, picks it up on a hop. Dowell with a clean base hit.
We got to talk about this. Dowell was inducted into the North Gwinnett High School Hall of Fame. Quite a legend there, and she's a senior, and she leads off this inning for the Auburn Tigers with a base hit. Auburn doesn't steal that much, but we have a pinch runner here now.
This is Kaylee Horton.
Kaylee Horton has stolen 8 bases. She's 8 out of 10.
Well, Dowell is a pretty good base stealer herself, although she hasn't run much, but she's 7 for 7.
Might Mickey Dean try this here and not give up an out?
Lindsey Garcia drew a base on balls in the second inning. Horton, the pinch runner at first, after the single by Dowell. We play in the top of the fourth. We are scoreless on a beautiful softball evening in Baton Rouge. Three players defensively for LSU had an opportunity to pick that ball up. It was Amanda Doyle who had the best angle coming from third who made the play. But the sacrifice bunt is well executed.
No stolen base, but again, they do have a runner at second, and Doyle is the one that you absolutely want to feel that ball and throw it.
Number 10, Michaela Packer.
Here's Michaela Packer. Packer had a sacrifice bunt last time. She'll be swinging this time. Packer has been a nice hitter with runners in scoring position.
You see Mickey
She
Dean
has a .355 average when that opportunity is there for her.
Mickey Dean going old school with the old school signals. This one is hit.
Briggs is back. Briggs can't get it. It's a 2-run home run. Michaela Packer lifts one just over the left field wall, her third home run of the season. And Auburn has taken a 2-0 lead on that swing by Michaela Packer.
Thought Briggs might have a chance here. This ball is hit sky high and kind of gets up in the wind and keeps going. See Gorsuch's face. Ugh. Nice job of hitting. Here we go. Kind of battling the sun and turning around.
Michaela Packer forges a lead for Auburn. A 2-run homer in the fourth.
Off the bat, I thought it had a chance.
Well, here's Madison Kepke.
Now, Gorsuch needs to have a short-term memory right here and get this out. Not a lot of hits in this ball game, but that was a big one for the Auburn Tigers.
Koepke stands with her lead foot right on the batter's box closest to the pitcher. That stripe, she can't get any farther and still be legal with that left foot.
Yeah, you don't see that too often.
Not at all. Her back foot is maybe in the middle of the batter's box, maybe not even that far back. That's not a position you see very often.
Hardly ever.
Taylor Pleasance throws it into the dirt. It rolls by the first baseman. And Koepke winds up at second base.
Pleasance with the $1 million catch. Maybe a nickel throw here. She had time to get set. Well, actually she does, and just short-armed it a little bit.
That's ruled as an infield hit and an error on the shortstop to allow Koepke second base. 3 hits in the inning now for Auburn. Taylor Pleasance backs up a couple of steps and makes that play easily. Perry is retired for the second out. Well, Auburn and LSU here are not the only two Auburn-LSU teams doing battle today. Auburn salvaged the last game of the series in its own park in baseball with a 2-1 win over LSU today. LSU won the first 2 games, taking 2 out of 3 in the series, but Auburn wins today, a 2-1 game.
Doesn't happen very much in the scheduling, but I think it's happened 3 times this year where both baseball and softball are playing the same opponent.
Aspen Godwin bounced out to third last time. Godwin with 4 home runs is the leader in the lineup today among the Auburn Tigers with those 4 homers. Her 4th home run of the season came last night. The 0-2 pitch is poked foul just out of the reach of Georgia Clark.
Good attempt by Clark, and you're right, just out of her reach.
The inning started when Dowell singled. Garcia bunted the pinch runner Horton to second base. Packer lifted a home run over the left field wall. Koepke is aboard with an infield hit. And now with 2 outs, it's Godwin trying to add to the Auburn lead. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Auburn Tigers. No runs, 2 hits for LSU. Gorsuch tried to steer it over the outside edge and missed it wide. Gorsuch is trying to minimize the damage right here. A runner in scoring position for Auburn with 2 outs and 2 in. Pleasance cannot get up and make a play anywhere, but did a heck of a job of keeping that ball from rolling into left field.
She saved a run. Not quite sure if Mickey Dean would have sent her, but...
At the plate for Auburn, number 21, Alyssa
Beth
Rivera.
Karina is going to go out and, I believe, have a conversation with Gorsuch and the infield. Four hits in the inning and 5 on the evening for Auburn now. And we will have a pitching change. So Gorsuch is relieved here. It's Ali Kilponen coming out of the bullpen. We will come back in a moment. Auburn has moved to a 2-0 lead and still batting in the top of the fourth on the SEC ESPN network. Mary Beth Gorsuch leaves the game after 3 2/3 innings in the circle. She allowed 5 hits, most of them in this inning. A couple of runs coming on one swing on a home run by Packer. And Ali Kilponen is the new pitcher for LSU.
And she is definitely the hardest thrower on the staff, screw rise. But her best pitch is her curveball. And she has really effectively used this in the latter part of the season.
She's allowed about a hit per inning. Her control has been good. A 1.69 ERA, 13 wins, 6 losses on the season for Ali Kilponen. Kilponen has only allowed 67 hits.
Now we'll have the flamethrowers for both Tigers.
Rivera has flied to left and walked. Runners at first and third. Kilponen misses wide. That levels the count at 1. There's a good hitter on deck in Tyler King.
Rivera really likes that left center field gap. She doesn't pull that much. She's got 5 doubles.
The outfield is playing her as an opposite field hitter. There's a big gap in right center field. Briggs is holding on to the line in left field, and you see Andrews there in center, shifted to her right. Kilponen wants to make it happen right here. The 1-2 pitch. Very high and tight. Throw back now to second. And LSU allowed the base runner to get back to first base without a throw.
Well, but you stopped at first and third, that's for sure.
So LSU content to not let the runner at third have a chance to score on a pickle play between first and second.
Great job by Cummins to get that ball over there on a strike to Pleasants.
Kilponen cannot pick it up in time. And Auburn takes a 3-0 lead on a dribbler off of the pitcher.
One of those balls, it's hard hit, you knock it down, and then you just can't find the handle to it. Pick your head up. Well, you see, she's picking her head up to try and throw the ball to first before she has it.
So an error on Kilponen allows the third run of the inning to score. And LSU finds itself trailing in the middle of this game, 3-0 to the Auburn Tigers.
Auburn, 66, Tyler King.
Here's Tyler King, who is 1 for 2.
Transferred from East Carolina.
Pleasants turns it into an out from the shortstop position. But Michaela Packer gets things started for Auburn with his towering 2-run home run over the left field wall. That swing accounted for the first 2 of 3 runs in the inning. 3-0 Auburn's Tigers lead the LSU Tigers as we play in the bottom of the fourth. There's part of a large partisan LSU crowd hoping to see the Tigers get something started in the bottom of the fourth inning, but it has been Maddie Penta throwing hard and throwing a lot of strikes. She's had a base on balls problem coming into this game with 82 plus innings and 40 walks. That's an excessive number, but she has not walked anybody today, and she has struck out 6, and they came consecutively. She's been really, really good. LSU has not had a base runner since the first inning.
As you said, she's got the control. She has it under control today. That bugaboo is not raising its head for her, and she's dominating right now.
Pleasance, Doyle, and Clark for the Tigers of LSU. Ten home runs for this young shortstop. She slashed a double into the left center field gap that rolled to the warning track back in the first inning. There will be a long run for somebody, and that falls in foul territory between the left fielder King and the shortstop Dowell.
Yeah, you'd think a pop-up, there's an out, but you're right. Both of them had to run a mile to try and get to that ball.
Pleasance waits with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. This one finds its way into center field. A base hit for Taylor Pleasance to open the bottom of the 4th inning.
Such a fun player to watch hit.
She's got 2 of LSU's 3 hits tonight. And here's Amanda Doyle, who has the other one.
Amanda Doyle.
Doyle's base hit in the first moved her hitting streak to 7 games. Andrews right now with 9 is the current leader among the Tigers with a hitting streak. She's 0 for 2 is Aaliyah Andrews.
And you see Penta starting Doyle off with a change-up strike.
Penta has, to me, a little bit of almost a corkscrew motion with her wrist and her elbow early in the windup.
Yeah, she's a little bit different, stiff. Let's see if she'll go 6 inches off with that curveball. Just got Doyle to swing at the previous one. That ball's down the plate.
The out made at first base, as Amanda Doyle was reaching for it, and Pleasance moves to second on the 1-3 putout. Here's Georgia Clark, who struck out in the first. She was the first of 6 consecutive Tigers that Penta struck out.
Clark has 7 home runs this year.
LSU could use one here. This will be out of play on the right side.
Serena calls her the soul of the team. She's leader, outspoken, although she looks pretty quiet on the field.
Dustin Douglas is calling balls and strikes today. Danny Bowman is at first base and Keith Kearney is at third. The outfield is deep for Georgia Clark, and she watches that one sail high and wide.
And that's the pitch I was talking about, but that was too far off of the plate.
This one is hit high. It's hit deep, way back. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Georgia Clark wraps one over the center field wall, and we've got a 1-run game on that swing. Home run number 8 for Georgia Clark as she got the barrel of the bat on the fat part of the softball.
The emotional leader, you see her just stomp on home plate there. It's about to say right before the pitch, 1 swing in the bat, and the Tigers are back in business. curveball that, as I said, it needed to be 6 inches off of the plate. Georgia Clark with a great piece of hitting there. Gets the crowd up on their feet and back into the game.
So everybody gathers in the circle right now for Auburn. And we will have a pitching change. So Auburn will relieve Penta here. She pitched extremely well into this inning. A base hit by Pleasance and a 1-out, 2-run homer by Clark have pulled LSU to within 1 run. So we'll come back in a moment with Auburn's Tigers leading by 1 over LSU. KK Dismukes, with 21 appearances to her credit this year, is the new Auburn pitcher replacing Maddie Penta. She's had 5 decisions. She's won 3 times. With a 1.36 ERA, 43 strikeouts in 46 1/3 innings, 42 hits allowed, and 20 walks.
I see her throw in the mid-60s. She's going to throw that curveball. Not quite as fast as Penta.
Penta went 3 1/3. She was really in control until just recently. A base hit by Pleasance and a 1-out homer by Clark.
Now she can come back in if Mickey Dean so desires. And you're right, she threw a beauty up until that inning. Kind of a one-pitch mistake, really.
Raylene Gutierrez struck out in the 2nd inning. Dismukes this year has sort of been the bridge between Shelby Lowe and Maddie Penta, the 2 freshman starters. Penta did strike out 6 batters in 3 1/3, all of them in a row. And that gives her 104 strikeouts on the year. Shelby Lowe has more than 100 as well. The first time that 2 freshman pitchers in the same season for Auburn have had 100 or more strikeouts.
They've had some good staffs at Auburn, but not the K girls like these 2 freshmen are.
Auburn finds itself involved in yet another 1-run game. The Auburn Tigers have lost 4 consecutive 1-run games. And they've all been very tightly contested, well-pitched games.
I'll put a few years on the head coach.
We're not talking about an 8-7 1-run game. We're talking about 2-1, 3-2.
Ooh,
there's
nice
a dandy changeup. Gutierrez was completely off balance watching that one.
That's the best changeup we've seen all day. Look at that pitch.
Now batting for the Tigers, designated player number 47, Shelby Sunseri.
The 2 outs for Shelby Sunseri, who struck out in the 2nd. Sunseri with an open stance. She'll close it just a bit when the pitch is delivered.
Big day yesterday. Graduated and got a win.
This ball is hit high, it's hit deep, it's caught at the wall by the center fielder, Packer. Packer went back as far as she could, turned around, and there it was. But Georgia Clark, a couple of batters earlier, hit her 8th home run of the year. Taylor Pleasance was aboard. Clark's swing has brought the LSU Tigers to within 1 run. 3-2 Auburn leads. There's Auburn coach Mickey Dean. You see his record. He's in his 4th season. Former head coach at James Madison and Radford. He's got 600 career wins, 122 of those at Auburn. I had a chance to talk with him actually as Auburn was riding over on Thursday, and I caught up with him on the team bus. And we started talking about recruiting. I was asking him about some of the ways he did it, and he told me a story of that I've never heard and I'll never hear again. That man you're seeing right now in the middle of your screen, every summer for 30 consecutive days, gets on his Harley-Davidson Cruiser, drives 8,000 miles by himself with a one-man tent on the back of that hog. And that's the way he goes to all these major tournaments and these recruiting circumstances and sees players and literally puts 8,000 miles camping out along the way and just kind of gets caught up with things.
I didn't know he did that. I served on the NFCA committees with him, and he rode his hog to the meetings, but I didn't know he recruited like that. How unique.
He told me he never takes the interstate. He likes the back roads. He'll find a stream or some beautiful site, pitch his tent, camp out a night, get up, get cleaned up, go to the next stop, spend 3 or 4 or 5 days, maybe a week. And he says there's 6 or 7 major events that he'll work into the schedule, and he puts 8,000 miles on that Harley-Davidson Cruiser motorcycle, recruiting every summer.
That's a great story. He's one of the good guys. We have been friends for years, and that story makes me like him even better. Talk about balance in life.
Yep. Sydney Cox at the plate for the Auburn Tigers. I mean, that's an ESPN long-form feature right there.
I went outside when we were finished with the meeting, and he was getting on that hog, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, I rode that thing here.
I asked him what his wife thought about it. She said, well, she's not crazy about it, but when he's at 4 or 5 days at the same place, she'll fly out and meet him, and that's the only time he stays in a hotel. Otherwise, he's camping out somewhere.
How cool. I wonder if he was a Boy Scout when he was little.
I don't know. Sydney Cox draws a base on balls in this one-run game.
I tell you, he's done a great job at Auburn. He had an incredible career at James Madison. LSU went there one year to get to the Women's College World Series, and James Madison almost pulled off that upset and would have been a Cinderella in Oklahoma City.
We will have a pinch runner. Pitch running for Auburn, number 12, Carly McCondichie.
Carly McCondichie is the pinch runner. McCondichie. McCondichie.
At the plate for Auburn, number 32, McKenna Dow.
McKenna Dowell is 1 for 2. She scored a run after a base hit. Actually, it was Horton, a pinch runner, who scored after Dowell got on base, and Packer followed with a home run. McCondichie, the runner at first. Auburn leading by 1. No play anywhere. Taylor Tidwell picked it up. Really didn't have any apparent choice and wound up putting it in her pocket for the infield hit. And I think she made the right play here.
Absolutely. And the only play she tried to make was the fake.
So Dowell is 2 for 3. Auburn has out-hit LSU 6-4.
trying to get back the runs they just gave up in the previous inning here.
Lindsey Garcia has walked and has a sacrifice bunt. Gutierrez picks it up and fires it to Tidwell covering, but the sacrifice is successful.
Packer is Garcia is celebrating that she put that bunt down.
And here comes Michaela Packer. She's had a couple of plate appearances and they've been extremes. She had a sacrifice bunt in the second and a home run in the fourth.
Well, they call her a diva, don't they?
She calls herself a beast on the ball field.
Gotta love that confidence.
Hitting .375 with runners in scoring position. Let's take a look at this swing in the fourth inning. Just out of the reach of Sierra Briggs in left field.
I think the sun bothered her a little bit.
LSU has made a couple of defensive changes. Taryn Antoine has replaced Gutierrez in right field, but Raylene stayed in the game and has moved over to first base, replacing Georgia Clark. So it's Gutierrez at first, and Antoine is in right field. She will bat in the position that Georgia Clark had.
Beth Torina out there trying to make sure that the Tigers keep this to a one-run game.
We play in the top of the fifth inning. Auburn leads 3-2. It's been a while since Auburn has had any success here in Baton Rouge. Let's check some finals from around the league. Alabama defeated Ole Miss 6-1. Mississippi State was a winner over Georgia 4-2. And Missouri handled Tennessee 7-4. Florida was a winner. It shut out Texas A&M 4-0.
Nice bounce.
Safe at the plate. Auburn scratches for another run on a misfire at the plate from pitcher to catcher.
Cummins got a nice rebound off of the backstop. If she'd have thrown that ball lower so Kilponen could make that tag. And that ended up being closer than I thought, too.
That's ruled a wild pitch. And Auburn has regained a 2-run lead. Runner is coming from third. No place to find an out for LSU on the infield. So Auburn pecking away, putting the ball in play, making LSU make some pressure plays. And it's worked out in Auburn's favor, which now leads 5-2.
Well, that's the best way to score when you're having trouble scoring on offense. Make the other team handle the ball. Force them to handle the ball. That's 19 pass balls for the LSU battery this year.
Yvette, just a quick update on the SEC scores. Florida beat Texas A&M 4-0. If they win tomorrow, if the Gators win tomorrow over Texas A&M, they will share the overall SEC regular season championship with Arkansas. And they will be the #1 seed in the tournament. So Florida is playing for a share of the regular season championship and a #1 seed in the tournament.
They had to come back in the last inning yesterday to win that game, so tomorrow's game very crucial.
Now Kentucky beat South Carolina 6-3 in the first game of a doubleheader. Kentucky leads 3-2, or actually, no, both of those games are final now. Kentucky has beaten South Carolina 6-3, and then in 8 innings beat South Carolina again 3-2. So you're up to date in the SEC.
Auburn Tigers trying to bunt again to, as I said, they're using all facets of the game and kind of got the LSU Tigers a little rattled right now. And here's a big gapper.
That will roll to the wall. Antoine slips down. Runner coming to the plate. The throw is late to third base, and the Auburn Tigers are roaring here in the middle innings.
Some pitches that are just missing. Here comes Tarina again. I believe we'll have a change here because that's the second visit, correct, in this inning?
That is the first triple of the season for Koepke. And the Auburn Tigers have scored 3 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th. And I bet they continue to put pressure on LSU's defense. And we will have yet another pitching change. So we'll be back in a moment as the Auburn Tigers are looking to even this series after 2 games. Shelby Wickersham has reported to the circle for LSU. 15 appearances this year, a 5-3 record, a 3.87 ERA, 50 2/3 innings, 58 hits allowed, 35 walks in those 50 2/3 innings. Far more base runners allowed by Wickersham this year than in her previous appearances at LSU, and 42 strikeouts along the way.
Look at that spin rate, spin down in the zone. In 2020, she had the second best ERA in the nation and tops in the SEC. Run into a little bit of trouble here this year, trying to find it again. And I promised her mother I was going to mention her because we're always talking about her dad, Jeff. But let's not forget her mother when it's so close to Mother's Day.
Indeed. That triple that Koepke hit to right center field was only the second triple that opposing batters have had against LSU pitchers this year. Of course, triples in softball are far rarer than they are in baseball.
Tough with the small dimensions.
A throw back to third, safe. Now the runner runs into an out at second. The throw back to home plate, safe there. Unorthodox, but a run scored. That ball has been, every corner of the infield has been involved here for LSU the last couple of innings.
We had lasers everywhere being thrown.
Now Koepke is going to draw a throw right here from Gutierrez. She's safe at third. The runner at first gets up and tries to make it to second. Koepke dusts herself off, comes to the plate. She's safe there ahead of the throw after the out at second.
And I really thought that the LSU Tigers were going to pull off a double play there, but Pleasance had just a second where she couldn't get that ball out of her glove because she threw a cannon shot to home, but just that little split second allowed the Auburn Tigers to score that run. Boy, this has been a crazy inning.
And a 4 spot put up by Auburn after 3 an inning ago, 7-2.
Talk about applying pressure. They just don't stop running when they get on base.
Perry is credited with a fielder's choice as the throw went to third. And then she was thrown out, trying to move up to second, but Koepke got up after scrambling back to third and scored on the out at second base. Here's Aspen Godwin, who's 1 for 2. Two errors for LSU and some misplays on the infield. And Auburn has taken advantage of it with 8 base hits.
Wickersham just missing with that drop ball. He's got to pull it up just a tad.
Yvette, I believe, and I'm scanning Auburn's game-by-game record, I think this is the most runs they've scored in an SEC game this year.
Well, they're celebrating in that dugout like it's Mardi Gras, so maybe that's why.
Godwin draws the base on balls to extend the inning.
Scoring runs is fun.
At the plate for Auburn, number 21, Alyssa.
I see 6 runs for Auburn in a victory against Texas A&M, but I do not see 7 anywhere. So that quick look tells me that this is the most runs Auburn has scored in the SEC this season.
It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? That this is the most. 7 is the most.
See if you're seeing the same thing I am. Rivera at the top of the order has flied to left and walked and reached on an error.
Lynn, I hate to tell you this, but their very first game, they beat Southeast Missouri State 8-0.
No, SEC game.
Okay. Always a step ahead of me. Shucks.
I saw a 6, but I didn't see anything higher than that. Have you?
Nope. You're correct, sir.
The 0-1 pitch to Rivera. Bunted, foul.
Haven't seen this many bunts in 5 games combined this year. Using it very effectively, though.
Wickersham delivers. That's chopped to the left side. Doyle's throw is not in time after she got dirty picking up the ball moving to her left.
I tell you, the speed of Auburn is a factor here tonight. They're beating out some magnificent plays. I mean, look at this play by Doyle, and I thought she was going to get her out, but they run well.
66, Tyler King.
Auburn has 9 base hits in this game. Here's Tyler King as Auburn has batted around. Wickersham misses off the plate to the left-handed hitter. King does not possess a lot of power, but she's been on base with that .314 average. Wickersham misses low and away again.
Have to think that Beth Torina is keeping Sunseri for game 3 tomorrow.
This game was scoreless through the first 3 innings. The out made Doyle to Gutierrez. But 4 runs come in the frame for the Auburn Tigers. And Auburn, looking to even the series, has moved to a 7-2. The Auburn Tigers have taken control against LSU in the middle game of this 3-game series. And the Auburn Tigers from the Plains have scored 3 in the 4th. They added 4 more in the next inning. And it's 7-2 right now. These Auburn Tigers are tired of 1-run losses. They've had 4 in a row, including 3 against Tennessee and 1 last night, 2-1 against LSU. Tonight, Auburn has played errorless softball and have banged 9 base hits against the LSU pitching staff, which has seen 3 in the circle tonight.
It was off to the racetrack in that last inning. They were just flying around the bases, making things happen with good base hits, great base running, bunts in there, hitting runs.
Georgia Clark has a 2-run home run for LSU. That's been the only scoring. Cummins and Tidwell and Andrews scheduled to bat here against KK Dismukes. Matty Penta threw 3 1/3 innings, struck out 6, and they all were in a row. Gave up 4 hits and a couple of runs. Didn't walk anybody. That's a bright spot for her.
Absolutely.
Cummins struck out in the 2nd inning. This is only her 2nd at bat tonight. We are in the gloaming here in Baton Rouge. Auburn 7, LSU 2. This is the penultimate regular season SEC softball game for both of these teams.
Ooh, and boy, this is not what you want to see if you're Mickey Dean. 3-0 count after just scoring 4 runs to surge ahead.
And that is a 4-pitch base on balls.
That's what makes pitching coaches shake their head.
Carly McConaughey has moved to 2nd base, so she has stayed in the game, replacing Sydney Cox.
Number 14, Anna Jones. Jones, the fifth runner for the Tigers.
Anna Jones is the runner at first for Cummins.
Now batting for LSU, number 3, Taylor Tidwell.
Here's Taylor Tidwell at the bottom of the order. She struck out in the 3rd. Tidwell starts with an exaggerated open stance. And the first pitch misses. That's 5 in a row out of the strike zone by Dismukes.
And here comes Mickey Dean. He's had enough of that already.
Well, the 9 hits by Auburn, let's switch gears back to the Auburn offense. The 9 hits by Auburn this year represents or ties an SEC season high. So they've scored more runs tonight than they have in any other SEC game this year, and they are tied with 9 base hits. They had 9 against Texas A&M earlier.
That's a short conversation. He actually talked to his entire team also. Sure's got some bullpen action though. That was Shelby Lowe, the pitcher from the hard luck loser from last night who threw a very good game.
She's one of the best freshman pitchers, not only in the SEC, but the entire country. Tidwell looking to become a base runner and takes a strike that levels the count. LSU has 4 hits, a double by Pleasance and a single by Doyle in the 1st, and a single by Pleasance and a home run by Clark in the 4th. The 1-1 to Tidwell. Jones gets back.
Little snap
Jones
throw
has
by
swiped a couple of bases this year, but I doubt she'll be running with LSU trailing by 5. Three balls and a strike. 7 out of the last 8 have been wide of the strike zone from Dismukes.
She's 20 walks and 46 innings pitched.
That's a foul ball off the foot of the batter in the batter's box. 1 o'clock Central Time is game time tomorrow.
We're supposed to have great weather again, so.
Bring Mom to the ballpark.
Hey, my next door neighbor said that's what she told her son that she wanted for her Mother's Day present. She wanted to come to the softball game.
Auburn has walked the first 2 Tigers with a 7-2 lead. Very rarely do you get enough base hits in an inning to overcome a 5-run deficit. But when you start throwing in 2 or 3 walks and maybe an error, then a couple of base hits goes a long way.
And the Tigers just turned over their lineup. I'm sure Mickey Dean will have a quick hook if things start to go astray.
And I guess the question would be, do you bring back the starter Penta, who threw very well, except for a brief period of time in the 4th?
And
or
really,
do you go back to the other freshman, Shelby Lowe, who pitched so well last night? There's a strike on the inside edge to Aaliyah Andrews.
and there's no question he's probably going to start her tomorrow, Lowe. So, and really, I thought Penta only really made one mistake. It was a home run, 2-run home run, but she had thrown very well up until that point.
Andrews quickly falls behind in the count, 0-2.
Trying to chop down at that drop ball.
Just trying to get it on the dirt, make it bounce a couple of times. And with her fleet movement to first base, she hopes that maybe 2 bounces would be enough. That one dips low.
The changeup.
Nobody had scored until the 4th inning. Auburn got 3 in the top of the inning. LSU came back with 2. And then Auburn countered with 4 in the 5th.
Well, we didn't see Penta warming up. It was Lowe's.
Very well done for the out at second base by Dowell. Dowell just turned and flipped that ball backhanded and had some velocity and accuracy with this play. Watch this shortstop. A clever play because it's going to be difficult for her to get Andrews at first base.
And Pleasance runs well. She almost beat that ball to second. That was her only play, and she had to make a good play to get Auburn an out. Excuse me, that was Tidwell.
So Tidwell is out at second base. Andrews reaches on the fielder's choice. And it brings up Sierra Briggs, who is grounded to the left side twice. Once to the shortstop, once to the third baseman. She takes a strike. Jones at third, the fleet Aaliyah Andrews at first. Pleasance is on deck.
Infield drawn in for Auburn. They do not want to concede this runner at third, which they don't have to.
The first baseman picks it up and tags the runner for the out. Mickey Dean immediately came out of that Auburn dugout. Let's check this again. Everything is fine here. The out recorded in the first baseline. I don't quite see anything Mickey Dean might have been anxious about.
The runner has to stop, and she made a movement backwards and to the side.
And that could be the only thing that he's carping about, and maybe had a case.
Wanted it called immediately,
right?
And they kind of waited a minute, and actually, if it wasn't for that, there was no tag. She had the ball in one hand and her glove in the other.
Well, Briggs is out. 2 gone. Here's Pleasance. First pitch swinging and hacks it foul. Pleasance is 2 for 2. She ripped a double into the left center field gap in the first and singled in the fourth. The outfield is very deep. for the LSU shortstop. KK Dismukes came on in the fourth with one out. He tries to drop that changeup in there, and it misses.
Good pitch, good call, but not quite the execution.
Pleasance has been a good hitter with 2 outs, hitting .347 when 2 are away.
And you know, Dismukes is a great option here for Auburn because he's a drop ball pitcher, keeps the ball in the park, but she's got to throw strikes.
Pleasance has the second most walks for the LSU Tigers with 24. First base is unoccupied, a 3-ball, 1-strike count with 2 gone. Dismukes with a lot of confidence threw that pitch in the hitting zone, and Pleasance took it for a strike.
I was about to say, I bet you Pleasance would like to see that one again.
Pleasance spoils the pitch. She probably has the best plate coverage of any LSU hitter. Certainly one of the most patient. Has the ability to spoil a pitch that's a borderline strike.
And just a freshman.
The 7th pitch of the at-bat coming. And Pleasance lifts it in foul ground, caught by the left fielder Tyler King on the run. That was an off-speed pitch and a very confident delivery by KK Dismukes. So LSU threatens but does not score. And we move forward. Auburn 7, LSU 2. Hall of Fame coach Yvette Girard, Lynn Rollins with you. Thank you for joining us tonight for softball from Baton Rouge. Let's look at the history of the SEC tournament. There have been 732 days between the 2019 and 2021 tournaments. The last time it was played, Florida was a winner. There have been 6 different champions in the tournament since 2010. Alabama and Florida and LSU are tied for most tournament championships with 5 each among those 3 teams. And it all starts Tuesday in Tuscaloosa on the campus of the University of Alabama.
Used to be a marathon, but now since it's single elimination, it's more manageable.
McConaughey is the hitter. She's batting for the first time. Pleasant scoops it up, moving to her left. Makes that sidearm throw for the out.
I just love the arm angle on that shortstop.
Up next for Auburn, number 32, McKenna Dowell.
Here's McKenna Dowell. She's had a nice evening. She has flied to left and singled twice. She has scored a run. And a pinch runner for her also scored a run. 7 runs, 9 hits for Auburn, 2 runs, 4 hits for LSU. Here's the 1-1 from Shelby Wickersham. That's off the mark. Gorsuch started. She was lifted in the 4th. Kilponen pitched briefly out of the bullpen and was not effective, and now Shelby Wickersham for LSU. That changeup stayed upstairs. Auburn is 10 games under 500 against SEC competition. Wickersham throws that high strike.
Gal was about to throw her bat and thought she was walking to first.
The 3-2 pitch. Lined right back off the glove. Second baseman picks it up. Out at first base. Tidwell making a tremendous play after the carom off of Wickersham.
How about that play? Holy cow. First off, I thought Wickersham had this. Plants and throws and has enough on that throw. She's got a big time arm.
You have to, because she was falling back toward left field. Both of her feet were scuffling in the dirt. She had no momentum at all toward first base, and still with nothing but arm action was able to throw a strike to get the runner. A tremendous play by second baseman Taylor Tidwell.
She really couldn't push, as you said, because she kind of slid. It was a tremendous play, but on replay, she might have been safe.
That would be reviewable in baseball.
Well, in the tournament it will be. And it's right on the horizon for this to be an SEC play that you'll have instant replay.
You're a few years removed from the coach's box, but from this vantage point, what are your thoughts on instant replay?
Well, I absolutely think we should have it. Every other sport has it. I don't want it to slow down play, so I want the judgment to be made timely.
Wickersham gets Garcia on strikes, and we move on. It's 7-2. Auburn leading LSU. LSU has some work to do, trailing the visiting Auburn Tigers 7-2. LSU has been out hit 9-4 in its own ballpark tonight, the middle game of the series. LSU won last night with a run in the 7th and took home a 2-1 victory.
Leading off for the Tigers in the bottom of the 6th inning, 22,
Amanda Doyle is the first hitter for the Tigers. She'll be followed by Georgia Clark and Raylene Gutierrez. Dismukes in relief. Burns one over the outside corner. That's one of the best pitches she's thrown today. You got to like her moxie. She has thrown pitches in the strike zone when they've been clutch situations.
You're right. She's got some confidence in herself.
Dismukes has 4 saves this year. She's tied for 6th all time at Auburn.
Squibber.
LSU has a base runner.
He's like off a pool cue.
That ball was spinning like a gyroscope in the dirt. And Dismukes was unable to pick it up cleanly.
Up next, for the Tigers, number 25, Georgia Clark.
That's going to be ruled a base hit with a lot of English. Throw some French in there as well.
It's like I said, it was like off a pool cue.
Dismukes put that one in the dirt before it got to the catcher, Godwin.
Here comes Mickey Dean again. LSU faithful is coming to their feet and trying to energize their team.
You used to see this a lot, Yvette, in softball, the whole team gathering, and then it became not illegal, but kind of taboo, and Auburn elects to get everybody together when it can. That is Shelby Lowe warming up. Shelby Lowe pitched so well last night against LSU and has certainly made her mark as a rookie pitcher in the SEC. Meanwhile, LSU would like to do some more damage here.
23 RBIs by Clark is more than anyone on the Auburn team.
In the lineup tonight for Auburn, 18 represents the most RBI. That's a pitch Clark would probably like to see again. A runner at second base, that's Amanda Doyle after an infield hit and a wild pitch. Clark has struck out and homered. She rolls this one into left field. Doyle will put on the brakes at third. LSU opens the inning with runners at first and third after base hits by Doyle and Clark.
Clark has liked the Auburn pitching tonight. And Dow looked like she had shifted just a tad over to second on that pitch, and then it really created a hole over there in that 5-6 position.
The only two hits off Dismukes in relief have come in this inning. Back-to-back singles by Doyle and Clark, and here's Gutierrez, who has struck out twice. She was the seventh inning hero last night for LSU with a sacrifice fly, a game winner in the bottom of the seventh. She's first pitch swinging, the out made at first, a run scores. So the tapper back to the circle results in an RBI putout as Doyle crosses the plate and Clark moves to second base. And the Tigers get a run in the sixth. It's a 7-3 game, Auburn leading.
Sure what we're making any change here. Yep, looks like we are.
Stewart is coming or going into the game as a runner.
Coming in a run for the Tigers, number 8, Savannah Stewart.
So Savannah Stewart moves out to second base to run for Clark.
Now up to the plate for the Tigers, number 27, Shelby Sunseri.
Shelby Sunseri has struck out and lined to center field.
Just barely missed a home run.
Michaela Packer had to move all the way back with her back to the center field wall to pluck the line drive off the bat of Sunseri last time. She's 0 for 2.
Once again, Working from behind.
Sunseri has walked more times this year than any LSU player. 27 times she's drawn a base on balls. And that one hit her. So Auburn gives LSU a gift as Sunseri becomes a base runner.
Mickey Dean thought about the hook, but he went back in the dugout.
He's got Shelby Lowe ready in the bullpen. And Morgan Cummins is at the plate with a strikeout and a walk. Maddie Penta started, was lifted in the fourth. She pitched well. Dismukes has been in the game since then. The single to left field, throw to the plate, not in time. Throw back to third for an out at third base and a huge base running mistake by LSU.
I'm going to tell you, though, Aspen Goodwin, they do their cutoffs a little different. I think that's what might have confused LSU, but she came up here to get this. She's like the cutoff, which is weird. No, what she did was she really read this play right and comes up and gets that ball early to throw the runner out at third. She is very good behind the plate at doing that.
But LSU,
but you're right, you don't want to make that.
With a base running mistake there at third, you just can't describe it any other way.
You're right. Not when you're behind.
Tigers have picked up a couple of runs in the inning, but that was an all-important second out. There would have been runners at first and second with one out.
What I'm trying to say is that ball is usually cut off before then, and I think it fooled LSU.
So Cummins with the RBI base hit. 2 outs now. And Taylor Tidwell will try to keep it going for LSU.
That's a good looking changeup.
It sure was.
Ball kind of just floated in there.
Tidwell has struck out and walked. Godwin made a nice play moving to her right behind the plate.
She's a very active, very good catcher. Very impressed with her as a receiver and just the general of the game back there. Just knows it.
She's very quick on her feet, isn't she?
She is.
Another change up, and that one is a dipper low. LSU has 4 outs with which to work. 2 gone here in the 6th. Tidwell is in front. 3 balls and a strike. 2 outs, 2 in. A runner at first base. Dismukes misses. Now the tying run comes to the plate.
I think that's it now.
Mickey Dean appears ready to make a move and call on Shelby Lowe. We'll see. Well, he is going to the bullpen, but it's not going to be Lowe. Lexi Hanley has been summoned, and she apparently will be the new pitcher. We'll be back in a moment as Auburn makes a pitching change, leading 7-4 over LSU. Left-handed Lexi Hanley comes out of the bullpen for the Auburn Tigers. A 1-1 record. In 11 appearances, she's worked 22 1/3 innings. Has allowed 20 hits, 10 walks, 21 strikeouts. And Yvette, what do we know about Lexi Hanley?
Well, she's a senior, and as you can see, the strength is changing speed. She's got a rise, a curve, and a change. And she looked like she was Really leading the infield there, getting them together, saying we're going to get out of this inning right here.
She comes on with a smile on her face, that's for sure.
Lefty, 6'1". She hadn't been used very much in SEC play.
Number 4, Aaliyah Andrews.
Aaliyah Andrews represents the tying run at the plate. Not known, of course, as a home run hitter. She's had 2 in her career, and both of those came this year. One was an inside the park home run. Hanley has given up a couple of home runs.
Ooh, that's
safe on a very close, risky play at third base.
You don't want to make the last out at third base.
LSU already has been gunned out at third once in this inning. That's a passed ball. Cummins just gets in ahead of the throw. Tidwell moves to second. That pitch is elevated.
But a base hit here potentially brings the Tiger within 1.
And it makes that base running error earlier in the inning even bigger than it was at the time. 3 balls and no strikes. Andrews probably will look at least 1. Two outs. The Tigers are trying to keep the flame burning. A strike on the 3-0. Lexi Hanley to Aaliyah Andrews. 2 veterans. Well played by the third baseman. Kepke scooped it up confidently and got to Speedy Andrews at first base. LSU fights back with a pair, leaves a couple of base runners in scoring position. Auburn 7, LSU 4. Auburn with a productive 4th and 5th innings has scored 7 times and leads by 3. LSU with a pair in the 4th and a pair in the 6th. We play in the top of the 7th. LSU has made a couple of defensive changes. Sierra Briggs has moved from left field to right field, and Savannah Stewart is now the left fielder. So Stewart in left, Andrews in center, and Briggs becomes the 3rd right fielder tonight for LSU. Each team has used 3 pitchers. Shelby Wickersham rocks and delivers outside to Packer.
For Auburn, number 10, Michaela Packer.
2 teams that have struggled offensively. We've seen 16 hits tonight.
Packer has a sacrifice bunt and a home run. The 2-0 pitch from Shelby Wickersham.
That one got stuck. Change up.
These teams will do it again tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time. We'll have it for you right here on the SEC ESPN Network, and that will wrap up the regular season. Wickersham issues a 5-pitch pass. Looking ahead to the bottom of the inning, it will be Briggs and Pleasance and Doyle, 2, 3, and 4 in the LSU order. Auburn leads by 3 in the 7th. Kepke has grounded out, reached on an infield hit, and also tripled. She's out at first base.
Look at the Auburn Tigers still working for runs here. Three-run lead. Trying to pad that.
At the plate for Auburn, number 18, Justice Perry.
Here's Justice Perry, who is 1 for 3. Or I should say, I don't think they credited her with a base hit last time. I think she's 0 for 3. Wickersham finds the strike zone. That's booted on the infield, and Auburn's going to get another run out of it.
And I tell you, Tidwell is usually such a sure-handed second baseman. But there you go with the bunt sacrifice, moving in it, the runner in the scoring position. Once again, she slipped.
Up next for Auburn, 00, Aspen Godwin.
But without a base hit, Auburn adds a run, a walk, a bunt, and an error on the second baseman. And here is Aspen Goodwin at the bottom of the order. And Auburn gets some insurance, leading 8-4. Wickersham finds the outer part of the strike zone at the letters. LSU has never led in this game. Gorsuch was lifted in the 4th inning. She pitched shutout softball through the first 3. And then got in trouble, yielding a couple of base hits and a home run, make it 3 singles and a home run in the 4th.
Change up off of her curveball.
Auburn, 8 runs tonight, 9 hits. 1 homer, has been on base 5 times via walks, 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. That off-speed pitch hit on the ground to the left side, turned into an out by Doyle.
Doyle is just so sure-handed. Never hesitates.
So Rivera will come to the plate at the top of the order. She is 1 for 3.
Alyssa Rivera.
Auburn has more runs tonight than in any other SEC game this year and has tied its previous best with 9 base hits against SEC pitching this year. Rivera hacks it foul. The 0-2 pitch. That moves the runner to third. So Perry, after the wild pitch, is now at third base. The 1-2 from Shelby Wickersham. The changeup is wide.
I don't know if she's quite believing in that pitch right now.
Safe at first base. Again, the carom to Pleasance, but she had no chance to make a play even after a nice backhanded pickup.
Yeah, the only chance here is for Wickersham to help herself out. Can't quite get to it.
That's going to be ruled an infield hit, and now Auburn has more runs and more hits in this game than in any other SEC game this year.
A little hit and run on that in that at bat.
Both of the runs in this inning are unearned. Tyler King, a pesky hitter, is at the plate. She is 1 for 4. Runner is on the move. The peg down is a beautiful one right into the glove of Pleasance for the tag on Rivera. Cummins whips a strike down to Taylor Pleasance for the out at second base, and she does it from her knees. Out on a close play at second, but Auburn adds 2 more and leads 9-4 with LSU coming to the plate in the 7th. The Auburn Tigers have had good production in the back half of this game. 3 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and 2 in the 7th, and a 9-4 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning against LSU's Tigers. Lexi Hanley came on in relief last inning. Penta started. Dismukes was the first reliever, and now Hanley. It's Briggs, it's Pleasance, it's Doyle for the Tigers of LSU. Briggs tries to bunt her way aboard.
Took out everybody behind the dish. Catcher,
Godwin gets up limping.
Blue got a little bit of it too.
That looked like it got a piece of the right ankle or the instep of Godwin. I think she'll be okay, and she is. Most of these SEC catchers are tougher than a railroad spike. You just can't hurt them. You can, but they don't let you know they're hurt.
Don't rub it. There's no crying in softball. Although that is a fallacy.
And should be. Hanley has a large lead here in the 7th. LSU trailing by 5. The 0-2 hit sharply, but right at the shortstop. I like the play of Dow.
I do
you?
too. She's like a little water bug out there. She makes all the plays. She's a tough out at the plate.
She just scoots around and gets rid of the ball very quickly, has a very strong, accurate arm.
Slow to the ground, and one of my best shortstops early on was like 4'11". She could play some shortstop.
That's more like a gymnast.
Yeah.
Here's Taylor Pleasance, is 2 for 3. And a run scored. LSU needs a lot of base runners. 1 out. A 5-run deficit for the home team after winning 2-1 last night. Tomorrow's game at 1 o'clock will wrap up the regular season. This is twisting back out of the reach of Tyler King. And a double for Pleasance, her second of the game, her 3rd hit of the night. That ball was slicing away from King, who appeared to have a chance to catch it, but this is the 11th double of the season for Pleasance.
I think King had a shot too, but that's the hardest play to make right there. That ball just hit straight at you and tailing away.
She was running to her left, was King, and then realized that ball had a lot of slice to it. So Pleasance is at second base. She came into the game with 9 doubles. She's had 2 of them tonight.
That's 2 hard hit balls in a row here.
Here's Amanda Doyle, who is 2 for 3 with a run scored. One ball, 1 strike on the LSU third baseman. That mitt popper stays high.
It's a 66 mile an hour. I suppose it was a rise ball.
A base hit to center. That easily scores a run. And Amanda Doyle has her 3rd base hit and her first RBI of the night.
That's 3 balls in a row that have been tattooed.
LSU with a run here in the 7th, still trails by 4. There is 1 out.
Pinch runner here.
Micaiah Times will pinch run.
Pinch running for the Tigers at first base, 00, Micaiah Times.
Senior who was honored last night, one of the 6 seniors. She's made history in this program. She is a 6th-year senior.
Georgia Clark comes to the plate. She has a home run tonight, and she takes a strike from Lexi Hanley. Clark hit her 8th home run of the season in the 4th inning.
She wanted that call. Still talking to herself out there. Takes a little something off of that pitch. So we saw her rise ball at 66, and this changeup is at 59. Actually should be a little bit slower than that.
Hanley is ready and delivers the 1-2. Upstairs. LSU still has a lot of work to do before it brings the potential tying run to the plate. Trailing 9-5 with 1 out, and Times a pinch runner at first base.
Clark doing a good job there fouling off that pitch, but too good to take.
That's when you give the pitcher credit and you give the hitter credit. The pitcher delivers a borderline pitch. The hitter has to protect the plate. Here's the make it happen pitch, the 2-2 count. Hit deep to right field. It bounces off the warning track. Times will put on the brakes at third base. A double over the right fielder's head by Georgia Clark. That is her third hit of the night.
I'm thinking I'm not throwing anything to Clark because she loves to go down there and pound that low pitch.
Double number 4 for Georgia Clark. Gets that foot down and drives it into right field. That ball got to the warning track in a hurry and then bounced high off the wall, away from the right fielder. And LSU is trying to mount a big 7th inning comeback.
Everything that the Tigers have hit in this inning have been lasers.
Coming in to pitch for the Auburn Tigers, number 55, Shelby Lowe.
Shelby Lowe, who was the hard luck loser last night, is the new pitcher for Auburn. This is one of the best freshman pitchers in the country. We'll be back in a moment. We will stay here now as Shelby Lowe gets ready. Both teams have 10 base hits. Auburn's have been very much at good times, plus LSU has chipped in with some shoddy defense on an occasion or two.
Lowe has been very consistent for Auburn.
She struck out 4 last night, and we'll take a look at all of these. She did not walk anybody. Her control has been some of the best in the country.
Alabama native, drop, rise, and change, mid-60s. She's going to spin it. She throws her rise at 3 different speeds. That's what makes her special.
Six and 2/3 innings last night, only 79 pitches. Gave up 6 hits, didn't walk anybody. Shelby Lowe has some of the best control in the country. Yvette, she's only walked 24 batters in over 150 innings.
Very good control. And comes out here smiling in a kind of a tense situation for Auburn.
At the plate, Raylene Gutierrez.
Gutierrez will try to keep it going and looks at a pitch away. Hushmanzada is the pinch runner at second base. Kennedy Hushmanzada. So Beth Torina is using her entire lineup to try to get some speed on the base paths where necessary. 1 out, a run in, runners at second and third. A 4-run lead for Auburn in the bottom of the 7th.
Tiger faithful in the stands coming to life and trying to will their purple and gold Tigers to some base hits here. Battle of the Cats here tonight, huh?
Lowe, the lefty. Puts that one up on the letters and in a little bit.
Exactly what you'd wanted from your reliever. She's just come in and thrown strikes.
The 1-2, just out of the strike zone. That is a very courageous take by Gutierrez.
Yes, it is.
Shelby Lowe has the second most strikeouts in Auburn history as a freshman pitcher, and has struck out about 20 batters more than innings pitched this year.
Got a full count here, though.
One out, first base is open. Two runners in scoring position. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled away.
No question, this is the loudest I've heard this Tiger crowd here this year.
And what a battle we've got here in the 7th. For the second time, low to Gutierrez with a full count.
What a battle. Let's see who blinks.
Gutierrez has struck out twice and grounded back to the circle. Another 3-2 pitch on its way. Hit sharply and plucked by the first baseman. Well done by Perry at first base. That was a difficult play. She made it on a short hop on the backhanded side, and that is all important for Auburn, the second out.
And that ball was hit sharply too. It's a good battle by Gutierrez.
So LSU is down to its last out, and here's Shelby Sunseri. She has struck out, hit the ball deep to center field on a line. It was caught at the fence, and she's been hit by a pitch. Strike one.
I'm sure this will be the starter for Auburn tomorrow. Usually pitches the first and third game.
Low to the plate where Sunseri waits. That one was elevated above the swing.
Yeah, and you can see Shelby telling herself, what am I doing?
That pitch started at the letters and wound up at the chin. The 0-2 pitch.
.67 miles an hour on that rise ball.
Sunseri slices that one back into the net. Each team has 10 hits. Auburn leads 9-5 in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs and a couple of the LSU Tigers in scoring position. LSU does not yet have anybody representing the tying run at the plate. The Tigers will need another base runner, and they will not get it. This game is over as Shelby Lowe comes out of the bullpen and gets LSU out with the final 2 outs here in the 7th inning. So the Tigers rally with 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th, but they had given up 3 in the 4th, and Auburn scored 4 more in the next inning and 2 more in the 7th. And this Auburn team did something tonight, Yvette, that it hasn't done this year, and that is get 9 runs and 10 hits. Both of them are highs against SEC pitching.
We saw 20 hits here tonight, you're right, but Auburn was very advantageous. They never stopped putting pressure on the LSU Tigers. They pitched well. They came in with their ace to secure the win, and now we have a rubber match tomorrow.
It's at 1 o'clock. It'll be right here for you on the SEC ESPN network. So that's the story from Baton Rouge tonight as we say goodnight from Tiger Park as the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers do battle. LSU loses the second game of the series. Auburn 9, LSU 5. For Yvette Gerard, I'm Len Rollins. This has been a presentation of ESPN.